This video, I have a super special technique that I want to show you guys, and that it really helps me get a nice buttery finish on these fades, especially on this really tough, really coarse hair that we're going to be tackling in today's video. So the funny thing is that my coworker Matt, I had called him over to show him this technique, and as soon as I got to it, he got called over for a walk-in. But you know, you got to do what you got to do to keep the shop rolling. So Matt, this video is specifically for you and anybody else who wants to learn how to get a nice buttery blend on this super coarse hair. So we start this fade off with a soft bald line using the trimmer. Now here's the thing, this client had a 30-minute appointment. They came 5 minutes late, so I only had 25 minutes to get it done, and I did accomplish it. But the key is we have to move quick through our steps. And that's the value of knowing and trusting your fading system. So check this out. We're gonna start here with this Stylecraft Instinct X. It's really important for me that you spread out this first guideline. I'm gonna need some space to blend out. Because trust me, if that bottom portion of the fade is too compressed, you're gonna give them that chili bowl, and that is not a recipe for returning customers. They don't like that. So we're gonna knock out that line right there. And now we're gonna go ahead and jump straight into the next panel. Let's take that number 1 guard wide open and let's create a little bit more space. We'll go up about another inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch. Whatever you're comfortable with, so that way you can get a nice spread of the blend. We're gonna go ahead and raise this fade up. We're gonna clear a little bit of bulk, but here's the thing. We're gonna fly through these steps because this special technique that I'm gonna show you at the end of this guard system is what really ties it all together, just effortlessly. It's definitely gonna be a good weapon for you to have in your bag, especially with this type of really coarse hair. You guys are gonna love it. Since we've already knocked out the one open, we can go ahead and now with this one closed, start chipping away at that little line. We made it up to that one, so let's go ahead and blur out everything underneath that one open. So that means going straight to that one closed. Now think about it, what goes underneath the one closed? We're talking about a half guard, right? So we'll start with this half guard. If you're more of a beginner, you can start with this half guard open. I'm personally gonna jump straight in with the guard halfway closed, and then I'm gonna go all the way closed. Keep chipping away at each little dark spot that you see there, and then we're gonna, pretty much by the time that we're done with that, all we have left is to flick out that very bottom bald line. Remember also, all the tools that we're going to be using in today's video, the Stylecraft Instinct X, the magnetic tight guards here you can see on my wrist, all of these are going to be available on the Gamma website, and you can use the discount code TitoCuts, whether it's the Gamma or the Stylecraft website. And when we bring together the haircut at the end for the enhancements and the airbrush cleaner, that's a new item that I want to show you guys on today's video. That's available on the Tomb 45 website using the same discount code TitoCuts. So I just want to take a moment and remind you, you can access these tools at a discount using my code. Let's get back to the cut. And obviously, there's different ways to go about this. Sometimes you're gonna set one guideline and then concentrate all your efforts on fading out that line. Or sometimes you're gonna go through and set multiple guidelines, multiple fading panels, and then after you set them all, then you go down and blend out. Essentially, it's the same thing. It's just a matter of finding what system works for you and trusting that and going after that. This is gonna come together really nice in these next 2 steps. Because like I was telling Matt, who was shadowing me at this moment, you just have to trust your system. It may not look perfect as you're running through it, but as you progress through the different steps, you'll see that it starts to come together. I'm really excited for these next couple steps I'm gonna show you guys. Now in this area, I did decide to take out my pick and just to be able to lift some of this hair up off the scalp, the hair that is right there in that transition area. If I jump straight in for the sake of debulking with my guards, while the hair is still compressed, coiled together, it may not come out as smooth as I needed to. So I did decide to go after this pick to lift the hair up off the scalp, just to make sure that I break through any coils. And I went in with my 1.5 guard. So this 1.5 guard, remember we faded up to about a 1. This 1.5 guard, first, just to have a nice soft transition, I went with the grain. And after I feel like I removed all the bulk necessary, then I went up against the grain using that same 1.5 guard. I'm totally okay going straight into this with it all the way closed because I'm using straight up and down motions. I'm not creating too much of a scooping motion, but if you're not fully comfortable with that just yet, you can start with it all the way open. There's definitely nothing wrong with starting open and then halfway and then closed. For a more experienced barber, I'll go ahead and recommend that you start with the 1.5 guard all the way closed. This is the technique that I was so excited to bring to you guys today, and this is literally the moment where Matt had to go back and take that walk in, man. It's hilarious how that works out. But like I said, I got this on camera so he can definitely enjoy it along with you guys. This is what I would call the raking technique. I think, actually, what's his name? Game Changer on YouTube, he calls it the tiger claw technique, right? So for me, this works out really well. Personally, I like to use the half guard. Specifically this half guard, the one that has the short stubby teeth, that, like I said, the wall style half guard, or now this magnetic version of it that Gamma brought to us. This tiger claw technique here, I like to, if I'm attacking a slightly bulkier part of the fade, first I'll close the lever and I'll open it 2 clicks, 1, 2. And then that'll kind of help me start to reduce some of the bulk. So anywhere that it's dark and I'm trying to bring it down a little bit, I'll start off 2 clicks open, which basically is halfway. And as the hair starts to tighten up, and now I'm just getting it a little bit smoother, I like to close that lever all the way. Even on the side bars, right? Like in this type cut, you'll see when I get to the corner where his C cup is, I'll debulk that whole area down with this half guard halfway open. When I get on the very front of his hairline, I use it all the way closed. So you're gonna be doing a little bit of lever play. Personally, I think it's probably one of my favorite techniques when it comes to blending out this really coarse, coily hair. It just helps me blast through all these different panels, these different layers. You can see here, all that area, I'm just laying it down. It really helps you lay down the hair as it's trimming it. And you can also do this technique with like a feather razor comb. It's super awesome, man. I absolutely love doing this technique and I wanted to share it with you guys. So let me know in the comments below if this is something you have tried or if this is something that you're looking forward to trying. A lot of people get really nervous about it, but I promise you, man, like it really doesn't debulk it doesn't take too much hair off at once. I think that's why I like it so much, especially when you're talking with the lever halfway open. So give it a shot. Let me know what you think about it. Now, like I said earlier in the video, we are going to be doing some color enhancements. I'm going to be using the Tomb 45 system, the no drip hair color enhancement, the beard and lineup, and I'm going to be using the Beam Team XL cordless compressor. The coolest thing about that one is that it wirelessly charges right there on my power mat, so I never ever run into a situation where I'm short on battery or anything like that, right? So the number one thing I recommend is skin preparation. If you already know ahead of time, actually I think this is important to do whether you're going to do enhancements or not. Cleaning out the skin from dirt, excess oil, you want to start with as clean of a canvas as possible when you're edging somebody up. I like to keep a bottle of 99% alcohol right there on my station, ready to go at my disposal. Wipe it down on the next strip, and then as I wipe down really good and really thoroughly that whole area, especially the amount that I trimmed down outside of the that little area that I took down with the half guard. So especially that area, I just wipe all that down, blast it with some cool air, and while I let the rest of it air dry, I'll go ahead and bald out the rest. I'll take care of any other tasks I need to do. Sometimes I'll go ahead and line up the beard, I'll bald out the fade, You know, just do what I need to because I want to make sure that, number one, I'm being efficient. So I'm not just sitting back watching paint dry. I want to make sure that I'm keeping it moving. That's the key. And that was how I got my client here out of the chair in such an efficient amount of time. I feel like that was already enough time for it to dry. Didn't look wet at all anymore. So let's go ahead and start at one of the corners. Actually, I did both of the corners first, right? So let's take care of this corner right here. Hit that C cup. Turn him around, match the other C cup, and then we'll go ahead and hit the front line. Same technique as always. You start in the middle and work your way to one side, and then you return back to that middle point and hit the other side. And go back and forth, do any balancing work that you need to. The key to, here's the thing that I love about the enhancements is that I don't ever feel like I have to excessively push his hairline back so that way I could make him look and feel crispy. You know, his hairline is one of those that does have to be cosmetically pushed back, especially right there in the middle because of the his widow's peak, if he wants a nice straight even hairline. But I never want to do that unnecessarily. So the enhancements is something that can give my client the confidence that, yeah, I look sharp, my hairline is crispy, and it doesn't have an unnecessary pushback that's gonna look crazy when it grows back. So it's an awesome thing, man. I really definitely like it. I did use Heavy before, I used Kiss Express before, but the thing is that Tomb 45 No Drip literally is the only legal color enhancement on the market. All these others use semi-permanents that definitely work, don't get me wrong. Kiss Express, it does stain the skin really well, but the problem is that if you're using a hair dye and you're using it for the stain that it leaves, there is a certain risk that you're taking there. I've had clients before that their skin has gotten really, really itchy using Kiss Express because it is a bit of a strong chemical, especially if somebody's skin is on the more sensitive side. I'll give you another example that my client knew for sure that he was allergic to Beijing. Like, it literally put him in the hospital before because of all the swelling. So he decided, I want to try it just for men. And after using that, sure enough, I got a picture of him in the hospital with the swelling. So that's just something to consider. It definitely is a risk that you're gonna take if you choose to use color enhancements that are outside of no drip. Now the thing is that, of course, you can do the patch test, you could like right behind their ear, but a lot of times the client kind of wants their enhancement right here, right now. So this is something that's specially designed for the skin with safety in mind, and it lasts really well as long as you prep the skin properly. Get rid of all the oils. And yeah, so those are my thoughts as far as no drip goes. Definitely leave your comments down below. I'm interested to see what you think about it. Of course, you could always try it at a discount also using my discount code, Tito Cuts. So here's the awesome thing about the Tomb 45 enhancement system is that this airbrush cleaner is something that I'll run through my machine multiple times throughout the day. This thing has just enough alcohol and whatever else it has in it, but it has a good smell, number one. So it never has like that OD strong chemical smell, like really strong alcohol. It helps you keep your lines clean throughout the day. So my gun is never clogged at any time. As long as I'm staying on top of my cleaning and my maintenance, I never have any issues with it. So I'm using right now, you probably saw on my Instagram yesterday that I finally finished a bottle of no drip. I got down to the bottom of it. So we're starting a new one today. And yeah, just give it a few shakes and a nice squeeze of color into the cup right there on the gun, and we'll be ready to enhance our client. So thank you guys so much for sticking with me through this video. I hope you picked up on some gems. I hope that the technique that I showed you today is gonna help you get through some of these coarser hairs and just lay those hairs down, get the blend looking right. So let's take a look here. I'm gonna put a couple videos showing you what the after looked like. So we got him ready for that last week of school, man. My guy is gonna be getting into school, feeling super confident, getting ready to finish the year off right. So like I said, discount codes above for all the tools in the video, and thank you for tuning in today.